Welcome to this week's edition of The Expeditioner Presents. I'm Matt Stabile from TheExpeditioner.com. You can follow me at TheExpeditioner. For this week's episode, I have with me Matt Kepnes of NomadicMatt.com.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, thanks for coming in, Matt. You're kind of less nomadic now these days, so it was a little easier to get you in the studios here. You're kind of like stable Matt now, right?
Well, I think you're Stabile.
And I'll take this.
But I am like sedationary Matt.
Yeah, sedentary Matt.
Sedentary Matt.
Yeah,
I can be sedated too.
Yeah, that's probably accurate as well. But you're moved to New York temporarily for a while now, and I've been here like 6 years, so it's been a bit now. And one thing that I notice, and a lot of people get pissed off about in New York, is the subways, because they're really frustrating. They're really good to get around, but at the same time, people do really annoying things on there, which I'm sure you've noticed. And
yeah, you get a lot of people yelling and screaming and
but even stuff that even stuff that's like wouldn't think would be that bad. Like for example, a couple weeks ago I had this incident. Now I'm not a tall guy, I'm maybe like 5'7" on a good day. And when you're on the subway, you got to reach for the bar and you're holding on. So I had this woman that was maybe 5 feet, and she was catty-cornered to me in the subway, and just fine and good. At the last second before the door shut, somebody comes in, so she has to kind of move next to me. So I'm like clinging on to dear life for this bar. And every stop that keeps coming, she starts moving further and further into like my world. Now, as a guy on the subway, you have to be careful because you don't want to be sexual assault guy. You got to keep like your own world. You don't want to get too close to other people, guy or girl, which is very fair. I don't want people doing that to me either. But she's kind of getting right in front of me there, and I've got short arms. So now as the subway is going, I'm reaching over her, again, arms not too long, and she's getting closer and closer. So I'm trying not to be, arrested at the next stop for getting too close to her. And she's like right in front of me. And I have a couple options here. I can either let go of the bar over her, at which case the next stop I'm just gonna like fall and hit like 17 people. Or I can like get off the subway and have to wait another stop, which is really rude, I thought. If you gotta think about these things.
I would have just, moved away.
It was a tight subway.
I'm used to living in Asia. I lived in Bangkok for a while. I travel Asia extensively. I'm used to having no personal space. So when 8 people are just crammed up against you and just like, it's kind of normal.
Yeah. So I didn't have much choice. I basically gave her my number and got off the next stop.
Nice. Did you really do that?
No, I didn't do that. So Matt, besides having my same name, you also have a travel website, and it's called Nomadic Matt. So
it is.
So what's Nomadic?
I'm less nomadic these days.
Less nomadic. But what is Nomadic Matt?
Nomadic Matt is a website dedicated to helping people travel cheaper, better, and longer. I talk about budget travel, long-term travel too, but mostly how people can go to a destination, maximize their time, get the most out of it, and do so without spending a lot of money. So.
And in that same vein, it's opened up an opportunity to write a book, which is called How to Travel the World on $50 a Day.
Yes. Travel
cheaper, longer, smarter. So tell me about this book.
It's about traveling cheaper, longer, and smarter. But mostly, it gives people a step-by-step guide on trip planning. And not like, here's what you do in France, go do this, go do that. It's more like, here's how you manage your bank accounts, find banks that don't charge fees, get the really good travel credit card, pick a backpack, what to look for in travel insurance, general tips on saving money and destinations, and a basic outline of the major travel regions of the world, Europe, Central South America, Australia, New Zealand, Southeast Asia, East Asia, and what the general costs are and how to budget specifically for those regions.
Nice. So in other words, it's universal. If you're a traveler making plans to go somewhere, it's not just for certain destinations. You can use this for whatever travels you're going to be doing.
It's about just the general, how do you organize a trip? Like, where do you start? It's like, here's where you start. Then do this, then do that, then do that. And again, how to find cheap plane tickets, round the world tickets. And it's not just for people who are traveling long term. If you are going to France for 2 weeks, right? You still need to know how to find a cheap plane ticket. what travel insurance you need to get, like what bank account to get so you don't have to pay ATM fees, what credit card to get so you don't have to pay ATM transaction fees. So it's quite universal. People always say to me, "Oh, Matt, you kind of write for young people, you write for long-term travelers." And I say, no, I mean, when I'm in Paris and you're in Paris, the Louvre costs the same amount for all of us. Food is the same price. So it's, budget travel is really universal.
But you can travel cheaply and you can do a lot of travel, and it's not hard to do. That's why I try to tell people. So that's why I think this book is really great doing that.
Yeah, it's $50 a day, and it's $18,250 for a year.
This book costs what, $12? You should be charging like $90 for this. That's a deal. The amount of money you're spending.
Yeah.
You're saving with this. I'm a 19-year-old traveler, graduated high school. I want to go backpacking my first summer off. I need a few tips for saving money and traveling cheaply. What are you going to give me? What tips are you going to give me?
I would say get a Charles Schwab card, which is a bank account in the States that doesn't charge ATM fees. Or you can get a bank that's a member of what is called the Global ATM Alliance, so you don't save on fees.
Those are those $5 fees that everyone gets hit internationally, which add up very quickly.
Yeah, or you get a no-fee credit card on that. That's going to be one tip, because it's only a couple $100 for a year, but I'd rather do better things with $300 or $400. So if you're going away for a while, it's only $5, but that adds up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I would say stay in hostels or couch surf to lower your accommodation expenses. Pretend there is no such thing as an expensive restaurant. You can get really great food back at home. If you want to go spend $80 for a meal, $100 for a meal, you can do that. Why do that overseas? Right. The best food is not going to be found in some fancy restaurant. It's going to be found in a local market at some hole-in-the-wall place that only the locals know.
Street stalls as well.
Street food. So eat cheap, eat local, avoid restaurants.
The deals are out there. You just have to know where to look.
Yeah,
it's kind of like that in New York and the rest of the world. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone thinks New York is so expensive, but actually it can be quite affordable as a tourist if you just get out of this expensive restaurant or accommodation mentality.
Totally agree. Yeah.
Ask the hostel people, and ask taxi drivers, and always phrase the question, "Where do you eat?" Because when you say, "Where should I eat?" they think, well, you're a tourist, so I'll send you to, La Bernardine, because that's where everyone goes. But if you ask, where do you eat? They're going to say, oh, I went to this great Vietnamese restaurant. You should go there too.
Right. Yeah, they'll kind of imprint this vision upon you as to what they think you would want versus what you actually do want.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Matt. So to learn more about you and your site, go to nomadicmatt.com. Follow you on Twitter
at Nomadic Matt, Facebook.com.
Where can I get this book?
Nomadic Matt.
Local booksellers,
independent bookstores, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, airports. I bootleg it. Like I got 8 copies, like in my van, like
selling on the corner. That's right, amongst other things. Great, Matt. Thanks for coming in. Once again, this is The Expeditioner Presents. For news and updates, go to @TheExpeditioner. And please subscribe to the YouTube channel so you know when the next video is out. Matt, thanks again for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Speak to you soon.
Yeah.
Once again, this is Matt Stabile for The Expeditioner Presents.